Hello, I'm iDevil.
I'm Obrock.
And we're Sophisticated Mayhem.
For April, we picked a game of the month, Guns of Icarus Online by Muse Games.
Guns of Icarus Online is a multiplayer game where players form crews on steampunk airships and shoot each other down. Each ship has 4 crew members, and games can have up to 4 versus 4 ship battles.
There are 3 different classes in the game: Pilot, Engineer, and Gunner. Gunners excel at swapping out munitions on guns for different situations. Engineers are able to be prepared for the worst, while pilots are able to bring a couple of tools for changing the maneuverability of a ship. Each class has access to the same equipment, but they're not able to take more than a single item from the other classes.
A pilot's job is to move the ship around. This can be boiled down to avoiding enemy fire while making sure your ship's guns are within range of enemies, but there's a few more things to it. Pilots have a few pieces of equipment they can use to help speed up the ship, improve its turning speed, or create noxious clouds behind the ship. All of these tricks damage the components. Think of it as overclocking components without sufficient cooling. A good pilot has to balance using these items, making sure their crew has something to hit, and doing their best to avoid enemy fire.
Engineers are an extremely important class. Every component of the ship, from the engines to the guns, can be damaged. Once they are damaged excessively, those components need to be fully repaired before they will function again. That means if a balloon pump is damaged, the ship is going to be crashing to the ground unless an engineer gets to work on it. Repairing is a simple process. Just hit the damaged component with the right tool and it will repair. There's a cooldown that varies with what tool you use, but once it completes, the component can be repaired again. If something is completely destroyed, the component will have to be worked on multiple times before it can be used again. There is no cooldown between hits, but it will still take some time. The last thing engineers need to deal with is fire. Some attacks can light components on fire, and they will continue to burn and lose health until they are put out with one of the special tools. After the cooldown, the component can be repaired as normal. While engineers will probably be the most focused on repairing components, they have one more duty: buffing. Using the hammer, components can be buffed to improve their abilities. Engines will put out more power, guns will do 20% more damage, balloons will have less drag, and the hull will have more armor. Engineers have a lot of duties, but when those duties are split, it's a lot less daunting.
The last class is Gunners. Gunners have the ability to bring a bunch of different ammunition types with them to use in the various weapons attached to the ships. There's many types, including grease rounds for increased fire rates to charged rounds if you want to do more damage in exchange for a smaller clip. The Gunner is a straightforward class that will spend some time fixing components when there's nothing to shoot, but a Gunner's first duty is to become acquainted with each of the different weapon types. Guns of Icarus Online has a menagerie of guns, like mortars, grenade launchers, Gatling guns, and flak cannons. Some of these guns have almost no arc, while some of these guns have quite the arc. Knowing how to fire these weapons effectively could be considered just as important, if not more important, than knowing what ammunition to use.
The classes are somewhat straightforward once you fill in their shoes for a bit, but another aspect is knowing the different airships. Each airship has different stats and a different layout of components, including different emplacements for guns. Knowing where to repair the hull on a Spire won't help you figure out where to repair it on a galleon.
Airships all have different strengths and weaknesses, just like the classes. There's faster ships like the Goldfish and the Squid, and there's slower, more armored ships like the Junker and the Mobula. Some of these ships have easier layouts for the crew to traverse, and some require an experienced crew.
There's a few aspects to airship battles. First off, what weapon you're using and where you're hitting matters. Flechette weapons are almost useless against everything, but they absolutely rip through balloons. Fire weapons will make short work of balloons as well, but they also excel at damaging hulls. Some weapons have 2 different types of damage, so keep that in mind. A Mercury field gun does both piercing, which is good against armor, and shatter, which is good against guns.
This may seem short, but that's it. Those are the bare essentials for playing Guns of Icarus Online. It's not difficult to jump in and play, and there's a few tutorials to help ease yourself into the game and a practice mode to get oriented with the different guns and airships. We are also giving away 2 copies of Guns of Icarus Online. To enter, subscribe and comment about what class you're most interested in trying. We will also have an extra copy to give away on our Facebook page, so be sure to enter there as well.
If you'd like to play Guns of Icarus with us in April, check out our Facebook page or join our Steam group. Thanks for watching.